Okay, folks, let's see how it is exactly that federal courts engage in deception, fraud, and lies to strip people of their constitutional rights. Let's see how it is that the federal court in Greenville, Tennessee, Judge Robert Leon Jordan, has used a complete series of frauds and lies, denying what should have been an easily entered default judgment. Now, the Premier Mortgage Services Incorporated and Gerald Cugno defaulted in the case, and we were noticed by the clerk of the federal court that they had defaulted. We were noticed by the United States Marshals that the case had been properly served, and then the clerk of the court noticed us to enter a request for a default judgment, which we did repeatedly. The problem is Judge Robert Leon Jordan is trying to claim that we didn't do it procedurally correct, which is just absolute pile of bunk. The idea that the request for the entry of the default judgment was not clearly communicated to the court is absolute nonsense. It's absurd. But in any event, Judge Leon Jordan has gone on to smear us and to make it out as if we just didn't procedurally follow the court's instructions, which is absolute bunk. 100% bunk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you get a default judgment from the likes of Gerald Cugno and Premier Mortgage Funding, you need to understand that PMF, Cugno, was connected to the most notorious gangster, bankster, dirty, rotten scoundrel, criminal, crooked slobs in the history of U.S. banking. That would be Deutsche Bank, J.P. Morgan, Credit Suisse, and Select Portfolio Services. Now, Cugno and PMF were the first tier, the very front line of the fraud, where they used deception and they used lies, and they fudged all the records, and they concocted the documents for Truth in Lending Act and RESPA, and they just created this fraudulent mortgage. And while they have now defaulted, and they did not answer the case. So all the allegations against Premier Mortgage Funding and Gerald Cugno have been admitted as true and fact. Well, Judge Robert Leon Jordan knows that vitiates or nullifies any contracts that PMF and Cugno obtained from Miss Birchfield. Long story made short, Judge Robert Leon Jordan will go to any lengths to prevent a homeowner from winning a case, including falsely claiming that we have not repeatedly asked for the entry of a default judgment. The record in the case clearly evidences and absolutely supports the fact that Judge Robert Leon Jordan is fully aware that PMF and Gerald Cugno refused to, did not, and they did in fact default by not answering the case. There's no question in this matter. And Judge Robert Leon Jordan is fully aware of the fact that entry of default judgment has been repeatedly requested of his court, but instead, Judge Robert Leon Jordan has made up just a pile of sophistries, a big, huge bunch of prevarications. In other words, he lied out his butt to make it look as though we're not cooperating with asking the court for the entry of a default judgment. It's absurd. It's obscene, and it's just not going to stand. So, folks, I'm going to leave it right there. And you know who this is. As always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha, we're coming back.